For thousands of years, people have invented and endured all kinds of disciplines, deprivations and discomforts in the hope of achieving enlightenment. Spending a week under canvas in Hampshire hardly ranks with some of the great sacrifices that litter the history of practically every religion. The atmosphere here at Brockwood Park is that of the international campsite. The only ceremonies and rituals performed are self-imposed. The man that more than 3,000 people have come to hear has rejected all of the panoply and dogma imposed by organised religion. He's even rejected the role for which he was groomed, Messiah. He's Jiddu Krishnamurti. Now in his 91st year, Krishnamurti has been described as one of the greatest philosophers and teachers of all time, a role he can hardly have anticipated 56 years ago, when, to the profound shock of his devoted followers, he announced he was not the Messiah and dissolved the organisation of which he was the head. Krishnamurti presents a calm and conventional exterior. With a stunning lack of pomp and ceremony, he sits very upright and very still on a hard, straight-backed chair and talks, without notes and without preparation, for at least an hour. Looking at this slight, unassuming figure, it's hard to believe his bizarre and extraordinary history. He was born in 1895, the 8th child of a Brahmin family, the highest caste at a time when the system was rigidly observed. He was very close indeed to his mother, who, before he was born, said she had a premonition that he would be, in some way, remarkable. She died when Krishnamurti was 10 years old, and the family moved to Adyar, near Madras. It was here, living in extreme poverty, that he was spotted by Charles Webster Leadbeater, a leading figure in the Theosophical Society. Theosophy was a world movement which embraced all religions. They believed that following on Buddha, Krishna and Christ, the world was ready for the next incarnation of the Messiah. Its president, Annie Besant, was a flamboyant figure who fought uncompromisingly for a whole range of social reforms in Britain and India. Krishnamurti must have looked an unlikely candidate, undernourished with crooked teeth and a vacant expression. But Leadbeater said the child had an aura of unselfishness. He was the chosen one. Mrs. Besant adopted him and began grooming him for his future role by bringing him to England. Krishnamurti was extremely grateful to all those who had such a trusting faith in him. He tried his best to please them, going to huge theosophical gatherings and undergoing for him the torture of getting up and speaking in public. Obviously, the theosophists influenced him, but it seems only superficially. All the time he was working out his own philosophy, his own view of how to arrive at the truth. The time bomb had begun to tick. In 1929, at a vast gathering of theosophists at Oman in Holland, it exploded.
I think it was in the morning, he spoke up and he said, "I'm now going to dissolve the order which I happen to be head. You can go and join another order if you want to. I don't want followers. I don't want followers. If there's one person who understands, it can do more good than all these 3,000 people here." And it was a big and very rich organization. And he gave it all completely away, and all the land and all the property and the castle had been given, he gave it all back to the owner. And he divested himself of all property. And one of the things, a very lovely speech he gave on that occasion, was to say, truth is a pathless land. You cannot get to it by any path whatever.
In what became his most famous speech, Krishnamurti said, "This is no magnificent deed, because I do not want followers, and I mean this. The moment you follow someone, you cease to follow truth. I am concerning myself with only one essential thing, to set man free. I desire to free him from all cages, from all fears, and not to found religions, new sects, nor to establish new theories and new philosophies." The speech was such a shock to many of the followers that they turned away from the man from whom they had expected so much. Others took a different view. Krishnamurti has developed and expanded his teaching, but he still rejects all organized religion.
See, we're now trying to impose morality on people, right?
Many religions
I know.
tried.
They've failed. Why?
You tell me why.
Because they're based on some belief which has no value at all, on some dogma, right? Faith, and do this, don't do that. That's what religions have done.
They would say there are all different ways,
No.
different paths.
That's all good old game, that, different paths. Because I'm a Hindu, and I say it's my path. You are a Christian, you say that's your path. It's nonsense. Path to what? Yes, to God, to truth. As though fixed. God and truth are stationary.
Aren't they?
Of course, living thing can't be stationary.